Time is 7 p.m. Notice this meeting is being held in accordance with the public laws of 1975, chapter 231. An adequate notice this meeting has been and two over time, as well as being posted in the main lobby of this building and on the municipal website. We have roll call, please.
Mayor Portman, absent. Greg Fitzgerald, absent. Thomas Welsh, absent. Christina Bonatakis. Here. Dan Mancuso.
Here.
Lou Demento, absent. Barbara Bowens, absent. Wilson Beebe.
Here.
Itza Hernandez. Here. Frederick Stone.
Here.
And Brian Pernigan, absent.
Jump right into our first resolution, which is 26 West Front Street, Block 8, Lot 15. Here for bulk variance and site plan approval. Brodsky, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Rick Brodsky on behalf of the applicant, 26 West Front Street LLC. The application before you this evening pertains to the 26 West Restaurant located at that site, which has been there and operational for quite some time. The application is pretty straightforward, I think. Just looking to convert a portion of the existing building, which is currently used for storage, to more of like a lounge or event space, event type space. No addition to the footprint, no addition to the building. It's a fully developed site. There was, the board may be aware, the applicant had originally applied to add a roof deck, but the application was amended to move that component of the application. So no new construction proposed, no change to the facade or the exterior of the existing restaurant. The operations will remain essentially unchanged. Hours of operation the same, number of employees the same. So really, other than the existing nonconformities that exist and are not being exacerbated, the only existing nonconformity that is being exacerbated, I guess, is the parking requirement. So there's no parking on site. It never was. It never will be. And so, but by virtue of converting the storage space to an event space, it does technically increase the parking requirement. I think de minimis, but by a few spaces. But other than that, there is no other variance relief associated with the application. So what I'd like to do, unless the board has any questions, we could have our architect, Mr. Michael Mann, sworn in. He'll walk the board through real quick the plan that's been submitted. I then have the operator here if need be, for any questions the board may have, and then I also have our professional planner to be on for some brief testimony on the variance.
Were we able to determine the amount of parking that's actually required? I know, Greg, that there was an issue in the TNM memo. It indicates that it went from 104 to 105 with the roof deck being taken out.
Right.
It doesn't make much sense. So you think it would go down.
Right.
So you know what the actual parking count is? I just want to make sure before the testimony begins that we know.
Right, so there was so the actual reason that the number changed was because there was a discrepancy on the plan. If you go to the site plan, it shows the infill area for the basement was going to be 590 square feet. But then if you scroll down to the notes, it actually says it's going to be 612, which is 22 square feet off. But it just moved it over the needle to requiring an extra space.
So even with the roof deck on,
Yeah, so the roof deck does not count towards the parking.
it did not.
It's not, because it's outdoor space and it's not interior walls. So it's gross floor area is everything interior walls. It was an outdoor roof deck, so not interior space.
Oh,
So
interesting. So even
not count towards
having a roof deck with like 1 million people on it, that wouldn't count towards parking.
right.
Well, that's something good for a developer to know in the future, but nevertheless, so 105 is right then.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted that clarity for the board's sake.
And of course, the restaurant was previously approved for an addition last back in 2017, I believe. For its current configuration. And like I said, same other than the conversion of this space. So with that, we could have Mike sworn in.
Sure. Do you swear any testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And just state your name for the record.
Michael Mans, M-A-H-N-S.
I'm sorry.
Michael Mans, M-A-H-N-S.
Okay, thank you. And you're a licensed architect, state of New Jersey?
Since '93, I also hold licenses in several other jurisdictions and are a certificate holder.
Mr. Chairman, I'd ask that it be accepted. I'm fine with
I've
it.
given testimony.
That's fine. We're happy to have you. Thank you.
Mr. Mann, if you could just grab the mic closer to you, please.
Sure.
Okay, Mike, if you could, just walk the board real quick, through the site as it exists today. And then what's proposed as part of the application, that would be great.
And let me just mark in those plans as exhibit A1. And I'll also mark in the T&M letter of July 10th, 2024 as exhibit B1 as in board one.
So the existing structure located on the corner of West Front Street and Boat Club Way, as was testified previously, has been on the site for a number of years. Currently, in the lower level, there is a partial crawl space, and then an existing basement that includes bathrooms for the restaurant, a trash room, some additional cold storage for the bar. And then in the area of where this improvement is intended, there was previously existing a full bathroom and then a space that has been used for storage since the applicant has been using it. They came to me with a desire to turn this into some additional event space that would be limited in size based on the population count of about 28 people plus a couple of people staff. We did determine that additional accessible bathroom was needed, so the existing bathroom would be converted to a handicap facility with a second one proposed. And then the space would be reconfigured to provide a bar.
Okay, and other, as I had mentioned earlier, right, first of all, let's confirm that square footage so we can make sure that we don't have any.
That is correct. The 500 square foot is a net number that I need for the building code. The 600 number is a gross number that the zoning ordinance uses.
And I know you've had the opportunity to review T&M's letter, the revised letter dated July 10th, which was revised after the amendment to the application. Any issues with anything set forth in that letter?
No, these are for the most part existing nonconformities. The only one that's exacerbated is the change in use from storage to an A2 use means that there's additional people in the parking.
And just to confirm, no additional square footage, nothing, no addition to the footprint of the building.
That's correct.
We're not adding any additional square footage space that we're utilizing existing space. Questions?
Do you anticipate any increased trash from the changes you're making?
Based on the use as an event space, probably not. There is a little bit of extra room in the trash room currently. But I'm, and the operations manager can probably speak to that specifically, but I'm not anticipating a difference. So,
And it is private trash.
Right.
I have a question on that point. Is the existing trash room fully utilized? I was present today and there are maybe a dozen, 14 trash receptacles on the outside alley. So
yeah,
I'm curious about that.
again, the operations manager can speak specifically, but my understanding is that for pickup, they have to be brought outside. The trash hauler does not go into the building to collect those.
They were empty today.
Yeah, I can't speak to how they work today.
Anyone from the board have any questions for Mr. Mans? Does anyone from the public have any questions for the architect? Okay.
Okay.
It's the ingress to this room.
You're not gonna put in operations first?
Yeah, we'll have Michaela come up for us to address that question.
Is it from the alley? It's-
Just gonna swear you in. Do you swear your testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
And just state your name for the record.
Bring it closer. Bring the mic really close.
Michaela Lucia,
How do you spell the first name?
MIKAELA.
And Lucia, just spell that?
See.
Thank you. And you're the operations manager?
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, so Michaela, you heard me give a little summary about operations, which I corrected what I said.
Yes.
Anything additional that we need to know? I mean, do you anticipate any increase in trash
No,
generation?
no, not any significant increase. The space is gonna be primarily used for private events. So if there's not a private event in there won't be any trash generated. Overall, I don't foresee it increasing trash significantly based on what the restaurant already uses.
Okay, and then with regard to the trash, it's private trash, correct? And the cans are kept
Yes.
inside and then brought out when the trash.
Yes, so all of the trash cans on the side street are not just ours. Since the development behind us, the private trash companies will no longer pick up dumpsters. Actually, since they hit our building, they stopped picking up dumpsters completely. So all restaurants within that vicinity, including Centrata, La Malt, Pliables, all of their garbage cans also have to come out to Boat Club Court to get picked up. The garbage trucks will no longer go down. I think it's Ice Boat Lane there. So at any given time, there is trash cans on that street, but they're not necessarily ours. Republic doesn't really label them specifically, and there is issues with the other establishments, bringing them back down, bringing them up. Trash cans get stolen, traded, construction steals a trash can, so it's not, the ones out there are not solely ours.
But your operation is generally, you keep them in the trash
Yes.
room, yours. Do you know how many?
I believe we have 8, and I believe the pickup is 3 times weekly.
And then, in terms of hours of operation, as I indicated, not anticipated to change
No.
or be different from the restaurant.
No.
And especially at the outset where it's anticipated that this will be an event space, it's gonna be something that's sporadic,
On
not
an as-needed
on an
basis.
as needed basis.
I just have a question. So in the application, or at least in the review letters, is referred to as a speakeasy.
Mhm.
So that's not accurate. It's not gonna be a speakeasy. It's gonna be special event space.
So the speakeasy is kind of the idea of the space, but it's not necessarily going to be open to the public on a continuous basis. The idea is to use it more exclusively for private events, ticketed events that the restaurant hosts, not really we're calling it the speakeasy because it is presented as a speakeasy, but not in like the way where, just kind of anybody's coming in on a 7-day-a-week basis.
So it's not gonna be, we show up, we know the password and we get inside the way they do it like in the city or anything like that.
Nights for like ticketed events, but it's not a random night now.
Okay, the only reason I'm clarifying this, because it's gonna go into the resolution as being a special event space. And I just don't, because that's what you're testifying to, and if that's not gonna be your intent, I don't want someone, and the board approves the application. I don't want someone coming back, a year from now and saying, well, listen, they decided now they're operating it as a normal space, it's open every single night. And that's not what they testified before the board. So I just want you to be careful. If you're going in as saying a special event space, then that's what it's gonna say in the resolution.
Yeah, so I mean, is there any contemplation that when there aren't special events, that it would be used as a lounge type area?
I think ideally, as a restaurant, we want business to warrant that every single seat in the restaurant is filled every single night. So I don't want to speak to in the future. Right now, our thought is to just primarily use it for private events.
But I think.
So to clarify, for the
Yeah.
board's edification, you're not looking to limit this in your presentation tonight. Your anticipation is, well, that might be your immediate goal. You're looking to use it as a normal space.
Ideally, yes, it's
Okay.
open business to warrant that, but.
I just wanted to make clear, because the last thing we want is someone coming back a year from now and saying, hey, they've changed totally what they testified to.
Yeah, I'm just a little concerned about that, about the event space, because I run into that, where there would be challenges, as Mark said, not on the regular space, but on it using as a gathering, space as like, for private events. That may come into an issue on being challenged by, just outside the public. So like how often do you plan to, I guess, advertise it as a private
how often?
event space? Like how often will you use, yeah.
You anticipate it being used?
And just how would you consider the parking for the private space? Because there is no parking that you're presenting.
There's no parking. It's hard to say how many days a week it would be booked. There is we do a good amount of private events in the restaurant itself. Like I said, ideally as a business, we hope that we have enough volume to book it 7 days a week. I think realistically, it would most probably be a handful of days a week. But I don't know for sure until we start, booking events in the space, it gets traction. It would be hard to.
So
exactly
kind of like how you use your second floor as private space, it's just transitioning downstairs. Okay.
Yeah.
And how would people access this space from outside? Is there direct entrance into this space, or are you coming from the restaurant?
Both. So there is currently a door on the outside, and then we do have, plans to put a door on the inside as well. So you can access it both ways.
Does anyone from the board have any questions for Michaela?
So just another point. So we're classifying this as a restaurant / event space.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so it's on the record.
I think for the purposes, as far as the board's concerning this, I'm gonna put in the resolution that they're anticipating using it mostly for private event space, but the board should just be considering this as just being a normal part of the restaurant.
And it will be available for the public to use 7 days a week.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
So it's not like a separate business. That's
No.
what we're saying. This
No.
is all 26 West.
Yep, all under the same.
Name everything. We're not gonna
Same
call it a
business,
different
same
restaurant. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
We don't have the
I'm good.
name, but same everything.
Right. Okay.
Does anyone from the board have any questions? Does anyone from the public have any questions for the applicant?
I have one question.
Go ahead, Greg.
So for the exterior basement entrance, if you're using that as a primary entrance, there's no sidewalk that goes down Oak Glen Court. So I just have some concerns about access, safe access from, the road.
That's why we, originally, we didn't have a entrance on the inside and we edited it to include that. And there is a sidewalk across the street on Boat Club Court, so we would direct guests down that side and then, bring them across that way.
But there's no ramp at the corner at that end of Boat Club Corner, right? There's no ADA ramp, I know.
There is like I don't know specifically.
That's that Mike.
Yeah, Mike can answer that better.
So I do have an exhibit for tonight. I think this would be A2.
Okay. And what is A2, Mr. Mayor?
A2 is an elevation along Boat Club Way, as well as a modification to the basement level plan.
What is, what are you calling it into?
So A2 is a revision to the lower level plan that will allow for also third to include floodway.
Three photo. Mike, you took the photo.
I did.
So the door in is all the way down the end, right?
The existing door is very near the north corner. Existing. There is a single riser off of the limited amount of sidewalk that does exist along that piece. A little further up the building where a recess exists. That is currently at grade with the street. So in the exhibit A3, which are the photographs starting at the bottom, which is up at West Front Street, there's a sidewalk on the east side of the way. It does have streetlights and there is a handrail because there is some grade moving down the alley there. When you get to the bottom of the building to the east, you'll notice that the recess in our building is at grade with the street. So after looking at the letter from the borough engineer, we then went to see how we could get an ADA compliant ramp from the street level to the building.
Because with the streetlights on that sidewalk, it doesn't look like there's enough room to get a wheelchair down.
Currently I know that people go up and down the alley itself. Certainly beyond the building to the east of ours, past the Denholz property, there's no sidewalk at all on either. And people do currently park near the boat club and then walk the alley through the street. I believe that was at one point, I know the clubway was a one-way. I think there's been some discussion about going back to that. I know that's not anything where it can handle, but that would be probably something that I think, the council should probably revisit at some point.
If somebody's gonna walk down Boat Club Court with a wheelchair, they better hold on tight. But we'd certainly like you to submit, if there's an approval, some drawings on how to solve for that, getting into the building and submit that to our engineer.
Of course, we would revise those prior to any resolution.
I noticed today that that rear corner of the building where one of the windows used to be apparently had a little confrontation with a truck. And there was some severe damage to the building.
Since I've been involved with the building, I'm aware.
Bring it closer to
of,
you.
such-
Bring the mic closer, please.
Since I've been involved with the building, I'm aware of two incidents, building being hit, one minor, and then one that required a fair remediation. That was done about a year and a half ago. That was a garbage truck, I think, that was coming out behind the buildings to the east. Sort of took that turn a little wide and clipped the corner.
So my question is, as part of this project, will you be refacing and finishing that portion of the building to match the adjacent portions?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, so the exterior is gonna be changed to match, is that what I just heard?
It just be matches the adjacent surfaces.
So exterior will be repaired
So it's, I believe it's a spot.
to match remainder of building. Okay. Thank you.
Suzanne, you had a question?
Actually, about the handicap situation.
Anyone else have any questions for the architect? Okay, let's keep going.
Do you swear in testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
And just state your name for the record.
Christine Nazaro, Nazzaro, Cofone, Cofone. Business address is 125 Half Mile Road, Suite 200, Red Bank, New Jersey, 07701.
And you're a licensed planner in the state of New Jersey, correct?
Yes,
Thank you.
welcome.
And you've testified here once.
I've testified quite a few times, as well as about 450 other planning and zoning boards throughout the state. 8 years as an expert witness in New Jersey, my license is current and valid. I teach planning and zoning courses for the Rutgers Center for Government Services.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Right, Christine, if you would, could you just describe to the board what you were asked to review, what you did review, and what your findings were from the planner's perspective?
Of course. So, good evening, Chair and members of the board. I was asked to review the application submission documents, review professional review letters that were prepared, review the borough's master plan and zoning.
Hold the microphone closer,
Yes.
please.
Review the borough's master plan and zoning ordinance and come to a conclusion relative to if the variance relief required in conjunction with the application is the statutory required burden of proof. As Mr. Brodsky indicated earlier, there are no exterior improvements really associated with that building. We are just simply trying to repurpose some existing underutilized space in the existing building. What that does is, while it doesn't create or change anything with regard to the bulk of the building as far as the setbacks, it does create a parking demand associated with it. So it does create a variance situation, even though we have no parking now and we have a demand for 97 spaces. The increased parking demand of about 8 or 9 spaces, we do need to seek variance relief. So statutorily, I think the board can grant under both the C1 or C2 section of the municipal land use law that governs both variances. I think the C1 are appropriate here because one of the conditions for granting a C1 hardship variance is lawful pre-existing structures on a piece of property. And here you have an almost completely impervious and completely developed site. It would be very onerous at best to ask the applicant to demolish the structure to try to meet the parking demand. So I think the C1 is appropriate here. In the absence of C1, though, the board can still grant the relief if you feel as a board that one or more purposes of the land use law would be advanced as the municipal land use law by the application. So I think that there are certainly 2 of the purposes of the municipal land use law advanced by this application. Criteria G talks about sufficient space in a variety of locations, in a variety of locations for a variety of uses. And then criteria M of the land use law talks about an efficient use of the lands. And I would say if you had an opportunity to look at the master plan, this is a permitted use in the zone, but the master plan here in the borough talks at length about promoting retention of existing businesses to facilitate a favorable business climate, to continue to be a destination for shopping, the arts, personal services, dining, and entertainment, and to maintain and improve the commercial vitality of the downtown. Those goals were in the 2019 master plan. In the 2023 master plan, we then talked about establishing a strong cohesive downtown area that preserves the distinct character of individual business districts. So I think that's certainly allowing the applicant to utilize this space in their existing building. I love the concept of a speakeasy. From a planning point of view, I have no concern. The use is permitted, right? The restaurant, bar, lounge is permitted here. So I would love to see the applicant be able to use it on a continuous basis, but also use it for private events. I think, you know, to help the board understand how it might be used is if you were going to book a dinner at 26 West on the Navesink and you had maybe 10 to 15 people going, you might want to, instead of having a table or making a reservation, you might want to have the opportunity to have a dinner in a private room. So that's one of the ways in which the space can be utilized. So I think it's a great addition to the downtown fabric of the borough. And I think certainly one, and you know, the parking variance is one it can be granted with no substantial detriment to the zone plan or the public good if the board would move favorably on the application.
Questions?
Anyone from the public have any questions for the planner? Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Mr. Chair, that's all I have with regard to that case. Obviously, the board has any questions. The application boils down to the property owner looking to remain competitive, stay in the space. This particular location, you know, doesn't have the benefits of Riverwalk and that whole thing. So, you know, that's an additional challenge that this particular establishment. And so, just trying to do what it needs to be done within the confines of its space to, you know, remain competitive and be able to accommodate the requests of existing and potential customers.
Anyone from the public have any comments regarding the application? Come on up, sir. Thank you. Can you share your mic, please?
I can take.
I'm just gonna swear you in. You swear your testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
And just state your name for the record. Could you spell the last name, please?
N-J-I-G. I-A-N.
And your address, please, sir?
165 Spring Street.
Okay, go ahead.
I think that 26 West is making a big improvement on that area because it's a lot of wasted space that once it's cleaned, properly put together, done well, I think there's great opportunity for residents, for visitors to enjoy 26 West more. So it's a great opportunity for the town, for Red Bank, for 26 West, and customers. I walk by there every day, and I think it would be very nice to have that nice and clean. Great opportunity.
As far as clean goes, I'd love to see those trash cans move in a little more quickly if they were still there tonight. Sure, they're probably picked up in the morning. It would be nice to see that. I realize it's not all you.
Right.
But at least the section you have control over, it would be nice if that was cleaned up a little more quickly on pickup days. Thank you.
Yeah. I think it'd be a great opportunity.
Anyone else from the public with any comments?
I just have a question. Is there any additional signing that will be provided for this new space?
No. Answer no.
Quick question, Shauna, did we have any public safety comments on this one?
No, there was none.
If you're finished, I open it up to the board. If anyone would like to make a motion, please do so.
I'll move to grant the variance necessary.
If we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second. Christina Bonatakis,
Yes.
Sam Mancuso,
Yes.
Lou Demento,
Yes.
Wilson Bibi,
Yes.
Itza Hernandez,
Yes.
and Frederick Stone.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. There was a couple other things. We have the minutes from July tenth and July twenty-fourth. Does anyone have any comments, additions, or issues with the minutes?
Motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve July tenth. In a second.
Second.
It's on there.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? I'm also making a motion for July twenty-fourth if there are no additions or changes. Leave a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Yes, correct.
Our last administrative item was we have the resolution from 72 Bridge Avenue. That's that condo building across from the train station. My only comment is, in the past, we have added to resolutions a comment or requirement about finishes and amenities for the affordable units to match those of the market rate units. If no one has an objection, I've asked Mark to add that to the resolution. So we don't have a problem as we have had in the past. So if no one has a problem with that, I'll move the resolution
As amended.
as amended.
Second.
Christina Bonatakis,
Yes.
Sam Mancuso,
Yes.
Lou Demento,
Yes.
Wilson Bibi,
Yes.
Itza Hernandez.
Yes.
Before we adjourn, thank you again to the public for coming. We very much appreciate people coming by and saying hello. Motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Our next meeting is September 11th, correct?
Yes.
We're gonna have a fun time. See you all then. And there's been a request for a picture of the board. So if we could all stand up when we stand up and move to the center, we're gonna have a picture.